Hello Scorpio and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy, their energy, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deep purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you're a cross-watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Scorpio. We're going to start first with looking at overall energy for your side of this connection to the person you are dealing with. As soon as I started channeling these messages, my heart chakra still feels like it's on fire. Like it's like very, very active, which is always, it's always interesting when I feel that in the start of the reading, because it typically means that there's something that has something to do with the messages, but I never really know until a little bit further in. Trapped, solitude, and wild card. I feel like you're in a space in this connection where everything feels very up in the air, almost as if like you don't know how things are going to turn out, what this person is thinking or feeling, or really where to go from here. This solitude card kind of gives me this indication that you've been spending either more time away from the connection than you've been spending in the connection, or that there is a need for solitude, a need to kind of disconnect and allow yourself to find some clarity and peace, because the activity that I feel in my heart chakra is very anxious. It's very chaotic. It's very, not that you're like an anxious, chaotic person necessarily, but I do feel like this connection brings maybe that certain side out of you where you are feeling a little bit more anxious, a little bit more chaotic, a little bit unclear and uncertain about what you want and like really where to go from here. So I feel like there's a lot of heaviness that you're kind of working through on your side here. Let's look at this person's energy toward you, Scorpio. This person's energy toward you, Scorpio. Okay, manipulation, grief and sadness. That's interesting. I don't feel like they handle this connection with confidence and clarity. In fact, I feel like a lot of the decisions that they make are coming from a very insecure place, and maybe a lot of times that presents itself like as manipulation or as like not caring about you or the connection, or like they're playing games. And a lot, people who play mind games are inherently insecure, because when you're playing mind games, you are, searching for validation. You're searching for control over the situation. There's not this energy of confidence and clarity. And I feel like that's kind of the energy that this person gives. But then they have this grief and sadness, which to me kind of feels like they are sitting in a place of wishing that things were different in this connection. Yet I feel like they are a big reason as to why things are the way that they are. So that's really interesting, right? Because it's almost like, doing certain things and then, feeling sadness about like the consequences of their own actions. This redacted card makes me feel that you don't have the full story of how this person really feels and what's really kind of going on in their world. Now, maybe you're like, yeah, they never really let me in, or I'm not quite sure, but I feel like there is a bigger picture kind of story that Spirit wants to draw your attention to. I don't necessarily know what that is yet, but I do feel that this person is dealing with a lot outside of this connection, and I feel like they brought a lot of that into the connection and kind of made it your problem in a way, which I'm not saying is okay or fair to you, but I do feel like there's more to the story. All right, truth of this connection between Scorpio and this person. Just feel like this person is hurting a lot. Fate with patience. Interesting. See, here's where I feel things get complicated for you, because like I said, I feel like, things in this connection, maybe even consistently, feel very up in the air, almost as if there's not like a consistent, predictable energy here, almost like you're always kind of wondering where this person is at. But the hard part about it is I do feel like this connection feels very fated. Almost feels like you and this person were meant to meet. Feels like, this was placed into your life for a reason. And I feel like you have like this inkling, if you will, that there is a deeper purpose for this. And I feel like because of that, you've been very patient when it comes to the connection, when it comes to how this person acts, the way that they behave, the things that they do or don't do. Like, I feel like you have like a lot of patience and understanding for them in regard to this connection. And I think that almost to a fault. Like, you let a lot of things slide that you wouldn't typically let slide, like, because it's this person and because of how strongly you feel for them. I do feel like there is a deeper reason for this connection, though. I do. That doesn't always mean like reunion, or that it means that you and this person are just supposed to be together, and if not, then you're never going to be happy. Okay, I don't like that idea, because I think that it attaches us too much to a specific person, and it closes us off to any other lesson or insight that a connection is trying to bring to our life. So, but I do definitely think that you and this person met for a reason. All right, let's see. Overall theme of this reading for you, Scorpio. There are regrets. I knew we were going to see it. And I felt that with the grief and sadness, but I'm very careful with the word regret, because I think that, just because somebody regrets certain behavior doesn't mean they're changing their behavior, right? It doesn't mean that they're, making changes. But I do feel like there is regret in terms of how this person treated you, how they've handled this connection, because I do feel like they wish things weren't the way that they were. You have this "you love me" card. What in the world? Okay, hang on. I'm trying to see like who this is coming from. This is you. It's like that this person does care about you. Or maybe like deep down that. Deep down that they really do care about you, that they have love for you, that they have love for the connection. But the way that they behave and the way that they act is like almost tells a completely different story. There will be a return. Someone has unmet needs. Oof, okay. I see where Spirit is going with this. if there is a separation right now between you and this person, and I feel like there is, I feel like you and this person are currently in some sort of a separation. I did see the separation card pop out with the, like on the bottom of the deck when I pulled this manipulation card, but it didn't come out. And I feel like Spirit is trying to draw you into looking at this in a different way and from a different perspective. If this person doesn't make changes, if they don't heal, if they don't grow, if they don't evolve, they're going to do the same things that they did before. Which means if they were to return, the exact same cycle would repeat. I feel like Spirit is trying to draw you into understanding that that isn't necessarily what, well, I don't know. I was going to say what is best for you, but I also feel like that's not for me to say, right? Because whatever decision is made that we make is always the best decision for us, even if it doesn't lead us to our desired outcome, it leads us to a lesson or to healing in some way. So I don't know. Oh my goodness. I don't necessarily know what this is talking about yet, but let's see, Scorpio, your side trapped with wild card. And it's interesting that I said this person has regret, but I don't feel as if they're making changes, because an apology without changed behavior is just manipulation, right? All right, Scorpio side of this, trapped with wild card. So much heaviness in this. I feel like there's a lot of anxiety that you hold regarding this connection. And I feel it's like anxiety in your heart chakra. Tower. I feel like when you and this person met, it really felt like, and it goes back to what I said at the beginning, it felt like fate. It felt like, oh my gosh, this is everything I've ever wanted. You know, this is the person I meant to be with. Like, it felt like you had finally, with the Magician here, like manifested some sort of a dream come true. And then things fell apart with the Tower. And now I feel like you're very confused when it comes to why this person was placed in your life, like what the reason for this was, and ultimately how to handle things moving forward. And I feel like this reading, Spirit is trying to provide you with a little bit of clarity. I feel like we'll get more of that when it comes to their side, because there's the King of Cups in reverse. The King of Cups in reverse is this energy of, you know, it can kind of carry the energy of gaslighting, of, you know, it doesn't necessarily need to just be that, but like telling you one thing and doing another, or promising you the world and not backing it up, or, you know, I don't know, like making you feel as if you're wrong for how strong your feelings are in a way. Because I feel like there's a lot of empty promises that exist in this connection. And that's what's made you really stuck. Yeah, Six of Swords in reverse. It's made you feel really stuck because everything that you felt that this person had promised, whether that was verbally or just by their actions and their energy, like it felt like everything you had ever wanted, right? So when things fall apart, it's not easy for you to just pack up and go, for you to just move forward as if this never happened, because there's a part of you that goes, well, what if that was my one chance? What if that was my ability, you know, my only chance to be able to have the love that I deserve, especially if things felt so good in the moment. And I feel like you're really stuck and almost feel like trapped. It's like you feel trapped in this energy of loss and this energy of wishing that things would have been different, even if you don't want to be. Even if you don't want to be. And I feel like there's a big part of this that's being missed. Because there is a lesson here. There's always a lesson. I mean, especially if you watch my channel, you know, there's always a lesson. But the lesson isn't always going to lead us to what we think. Meaning that you and this person did meet for a reason, but I feel like the reason is your healing and your self-love and learning to choose yourself and to value yourself and to love yourself in a way that you never really have before. And that ultimately will lead you to the love that you're looking for, whether it's in this person or not. Because what you don't want is how things were, right? You don't want to feel on edge and, you know, anxious and wondering like how this person feels and if they're going to show up and are they going to leave you and when, you know, when are they going to speak to you next? Like all of that anxiety, that confusion, there's something underneath there. There's a wound underneath there. There's an attachment that's underneath there. And I feel like, because with the Four of Cups, it can be this indication that you're focusing on the wrong thing, like needing to shift your focus in a different direction. But your feelings are valid. That's important for you to know. Your feelings are valid. Like you have a right to feel the way that you do. But let's see, this person's energy toward you, grief and sadness with manipulation. This is so interesting. Ten of Swords. This person is hurting. Hermit in reverse. The Empress. Four of Swords in reverse. The Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, okay. But, yeah, there it is. I knew we were going to see it. The Five of Swords. The Death in reverse. Okay. This person. Whew. Okay. Here's the thing. I don't know what they did. I don't know what happened here. But I feel like they hurt themselves through hurting you. And some, like whether they sabotaged this connection, whatever the case was, I feel like they're sitting in this energy of like Ten of Swords. Like almost betrayed by themselves in a way. I feel like one of the things that might surprise you about this person is maybe it doesn't surprise you actually. They carry a lot. They carry a lot of wounding. They carry a history of being hurt, a history of being abandoned, a history of being betrayed. And because of that, I feel like they really struggle to open up and trust anybody. And at the very beginning of this, I said that this, you know, people who are manipulative, people who play mind games are inherently insecure. Because when you don't feel lovable or deserving of love, or you've been taught by your circumstances that you can't have the love that you deserve, you play mind games and you manipulate because when you have control over the situation, you don't have to deal with any of those insecurities, right? You receive validation through that and you protect yourself through that. So the way that this person behaved is very much this energy of self-protection. That's why I said when the Five of Swords came out, I said I knew we were going to see it. Because the Five of Swords is like very defensive, the world is out to get me. I can't trust anybody. Everyone's always going to screw me over. They carry a lot of this. And they have a lot of past hurt, right? I kind of talked about, and hurt people. Not necessarily intentionally, but hurt people. And, you know, I do feel, especially with the Empress and the Nine of Pentacles, it's like they saw this connection as like, oh my gosh, this is a dream come true, just as much as you did. I feel like they saw you as somebody who very much aligned with what they were looking for. I feel like they saw you essentially as wish fulfillment with the Nine of Pentacles. Something that's really interesting about human beings is we are very used to the lack of love and abundance and fulfillment and peace that we're used to. And we actually feel more comfortable and often even crave the chaos or we crave the chaos, and we actually are very uncomfortable with, the things that we desire. And one of the ways that this shows up a lot is in self-sabotage. You know, if somebody has a big goal or a big dream, but they feel unworthy of it, they might not ever go after it, or they'll self-sabotage in some way and ultimately not create it. So if somebody hasn't done the work on themselves to address these insecurities, to address the shadow work, and what it is that they desire comes along, they are going to go, oh my God, I don't feel good enough for this, and they're going to ruin it. And that's exactly what this person did. They pushed it away, they self-sabotaged, and they regret that. Okay, that's important to know, right? But here's the flip side. Death in reverse, unwilling to change. It's like if somebody makes a mistake, does something like pokes you, it's just a silly example, but somebody, pokes you and you're like, hey, I really want you to stop poking me. And they're like, okay, I'm really sorry. And you're like, no, please, like, stop poking me. And they're like, yeah, I'm really, really sorry that I'm doing that. No, seriously, stop poking me. Yeah, I'm really sorry. Like, man, that sucks. Like, I'm so sorry. It's like, if you're not sorry if you're not stopping, right? You're not sorry if there's no change behavior. You're not sorry if you're not addressing the reasons that you do well, actually, that's not fair. They might be sorry. They might sit there being like, wow, I'm really sorry that I sabotaged this. I'm really sorry that I, did certain things to hurt you. But if somebody isn't then addressing the reasons why, because there's always a reason why we do the things that we do. Everybody has the ability to be the best version of themselves or the worst version of themselves. And everybody falls on a scale between that version of the best version and the worst version. And they might want to be the best version of themselves, but because they carry a lot of wounding, a lot of traumas, a lot of insecurities, a lot of triggers, and they're not addressing any of it, they're not doing the work, they're not in therapy, they're not dealing with any of it, whenever certain things come out that trigger them, they're going to jump well on over to this shadow side of them. And they're going to do things that in hindsight they might regret, but in the moment, if they don't have the tools and the awareness and the healing, it's going to sabotage things. That is what self-awareness and healing is all about, is we learn to show up for the things that we love and for the things that we deserve and for the things that we desire, instead of running from them or sabotaging them because we don't feel good enough for them. And I think that one of the things that Spirit really wants you to know about this, and one of the things that Spirit wants you to be wary of when it comes to this connection, is if this person doesn't do the work, if they are not willing to be honest with themselves, willing to self-reflect, which Four of Swords in reverse kind of gives an indication that maybe they're not doing that. Hermit in reverse, same kind of thing. If this person isn't willing to do the work, not willing to self-reflect, not willing to address these wounds, this cycle is going to continue to repeat. Because no matter how you show up, they're going to continue to self-sabotage. They're going to continue to do the thing that goes against what it is that they really desire. And they're going to do it forever until or unless they address those things. And that's where you have to ask yourself, do I really want this person back? Or do I want the version of them that I feel that they could become? And if that's the case, maybe the version of them that I feel that they could become exists in somebody else. Because again, everybody has the ability to be the best version of themselves and the worst version of themselves. And I think that a lot of what you felt and saw in this connection was when this person wasn't feeling triggered, wasn't feeling wounded, like those things weren't controlling them, right? So I think that that's what you're needing to look at differently, is instead of asking yourself, like, why don't they see my value, or why won't they choose me, or why am I not good enough for them to not ruin it or not run away from it? it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with their unhealed wounding that they're going to have to address so that they could have the love that they deserve. Now, here's where the mirror is. Because our relationships with other people are reflecting back to us our relationship with ourselves. And there's always a mirror. When somebody else's wounding is self-sabotaging a connection with us, there's typically a way in which our wounding is self-sabotaging our connection by looking for love in somebody who is not currently at a place where they have the capacity or the healing or the growth or the emotional awareness and availability to give it to us. And if we keep looking for love in places where we can't find it, we're going to keep not having it. And we're going to start to believe on some level that we can never have it. So there is a cycle here that Spirit is asking you to break. And the reason that you and this person met is to break this cycle, is to look at the ways in which, and this isn't about their healing and your healing, okay? This is about your healing separate from theirs. Because if they choose not to heal, they're going to sabotage their inability. They're going to sabotage their ability to have the love that they deserve, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't have the love that you deserve. It just means that there's healing that needs to be done on your side so that you can attract people who are capable, able, and have the capacity to love you in the way that you deserve. With that being said, we're going to hop on over to the extended You Have Fate with Patience. I'm going to dive deeper into this, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Thank you so much, Scorpio, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Scorpio.